I guess first of all, can you kind of, I guess, reflect on last week and the build-up? You knew Timmy McClain was going to be your starting quarterback. What was last week at practice like, and what did you think of Timmy when we got to game time? Maybe it took a little bit for him to get comfortable and settle down, but just kind of reflect on the moment of him coming in and leading your offense.
Well, again, we've been grinding on this since January, preparing him to play. So it's been a process in investing in himself to get himself ready to go perform when his opportunity comes. And honestly, when you're in what his role was, which is the backup quarterback, it could be one snap and you're in. And so you have to be ready to go win for your team in all those situations. But he's been very, very focused through all that process and waiting for his moment. And then it happened again, on Saturday. And the process though has been working hard, and so that you can go out there and go perform and do the best you can possibly do, and also with the reps and all the situations that we put him in, but go out there and play good. And that was the goal. So I had a lot of confidence going into the game during warm-ups. I saw him warming up, and he had a lot of confidence about him because he's put that time in to prepare and to show himself approved to be ready to go play.
Darin, what did you see? Then how would you assess his performance? I mean, he looked early on like he was shaking a little bit of the rust off, and then he kind of settled in and looked like things kind of maybe got under control.
Yeah, and it was a situation, again, we wanted to give him some completions and some screen situations where we knew that he had a high probability of getting him started. That's what you want to do with any quarterback, that's going out there for the first time. And then he started the game with a couple reads where he was a little bit juiced up. He threw a post into a high safety, which was not, that's not what we do. And but he calmed down and was very confident on the sideline. And Coach Malzahn got into him pretty good at some times during the game, and he handled it really well, like a pro. And then, the thing with him is that he ended up executing a lot of plays very good. The ones that he did not, a lot were some target screens that were thrown high. He missed a couple easy takes. So what a take is just hitches outside that, he missed throws that we got to make. And, he finished the game 20-28 and could have been 25-28 very easily. So, I really got on him today about fine-tuning your game, that we got to make those the easy ones, and we got to go make the hard ones. But he is a very good deep ball thrower, and he gave great opportunity balls, and that's one thing we talk about, is give our receivers a chance to go make plays, and then read the coverage and take what the defense gives you. Don't force balls into places that need to be forced. And he did a good job really the rest of the game of taking what the defense gave him and didn't force it down the field. And again, finished the game like we wanted to. But the bottom line, there's a lot of improving to do. From this is kind of his week 1 to week 2, and you do a lot of improving for Kansas State. And preparing for Kansas State, he's got to really fine tune and get ready to correct some mistakes that were made and get ready to go.
Coach, can you tell us the importance about having Randy Pittman get reps in the game against Villanova?
Yeah, and Randy's been playing for us every game, so we put him in because he's a player, and he made plays, and he's been doing a good job with his assignments and everything that needs to happen. And again, he's very physical, and everything that happens in a game sometimes is a new situation. They gave us a couple different defensive fronts that were different in all those situations. So again, his learning curve, he's a freshman, and he's continuing to get better. And again, he's a guy that's going to be a great player down the line, and he's a great player for us now. We got to get him to step up and play good.
No turnovers this game. How important was the messaging to Timmy during the week about protecting the ball as well as the rest of the offense?
There's no doubt about that, and that's one thing again it's kind of harped us in the red zone the first 2 games, and again, we talked about that, about flipping the switch in the red zone and protecting the football and don't let the defense touch it. And again, that's when you got the ball in your hand, you got the program in your hand. And we did a good job this game of not turning the football over. And again, there's situations where our ball security got a little loose during the game, and again we went and showed that to him and corrected that, and we got to continue. And Timmy had a situation where he's got a habit of wanting to put it in one hand when he's moving around. He can't. He's got to have 2 hands on the ball, and he got knocked out during the game. He got back on it, but it was one of those situations where he can't do that, you know, and that's past. I call him, that's the old Timmy. I go, the new Timmy doesn't do that, and he's really worked at that all during camp and all during practices, getting ready for this, and again, he's got to continue to do that.
Out of curiosity, I know there's obviously analytics, there's external analytics like PFF, and they grade players, but they're not necessarily know what the intent of every play is because they're not the coaching staff. As a coaching staff, do you grade players in a similar format, or do you sit down after a game and do you grade players in a similar way?
Oh yeah, I mean we have, you know, we grade effort, we grade loafs, we grade, you know, their, you know, obviously the O-line have more technical grades and all the things they do. With quarterbacks, it's targets, decisions, where we're going with the football, our footwork, is it been correct? All those, you know, all those things that go in. The running backs, you know, again, there's technique grades, and then there's grades on whether you got your job done or not. And then we give them those grades and show them, you know, whether or not they did good or not, as far as, you know, their performance as their overall grade, their technique grade, and then their effort grade. And the one thing we've been doing is playing with effort. So again, it's playing with good effort, and quality effort is the key, meaning that we're smart. We're playing smart football, not just reckless, and we're doing the correct steps, doing everything that we need to do to go give our players, whoever has the ball in their hand, the ability to be able to go, like our technique on blocking outside. It's an art. It's not just you know who's tougher and you go run into a wall. That's not football. Football is about technique, shooting your hands, when to again set your feet. You know, again, two-way goes. We're not turning. All the fundamentals of football that go into every snap at every position.
So to that end, were there any players maybe that had a good day, or anyone you want to point out that maybe had a good grade, or just looking back at their performance, anyone you were particularly
proud of? I'll just say this, like the one guy that we've been on since spring and all summer is Kobe Hudson, and he's a guy that really didn't do all the little things very, very good. He really didn't. And then when the big time had to come, and you guys, just as far as making big plays, it's doing all the little things, and the route running, and again, your steps, your depth, all those things that lead to big plays. It's all the little things that add up to make the big things happen. They don't just happen. And so again, we've been on him, and he has really fine-tuned his game, and you can see it happening on the field. And I'm really proud of him and how hard he's been working and what he's been doing, and you see the production. Another one is Javon Baker. Has just been, I mean, he has bought in since training camp on doing things right, and he's consistently performing. And again, you know, Timmy makes the right read. He has another catch for probably 30, 40 yards that adds up his numbers. But the bottom line is those are two guys that stand out, that are really starting, you know, that are doing what they're working at it on a daily basis. And I think the biggest thing too with the offense is to be unselfish, is that it's all about us. It's about us as a unit. It's not, oh, how many times did I touch the ball? I mean, there's some games you're going to touch the ball a lot. There's some games where it might not go your way, depending on what happens. And again, playing for each other. That's the key to having a successful offense and being able to do it together week in and week out.
The numbers from the running backs probably speak for themselves a little bit, but what have you seen from that group, especially knowing that you're going to need them in Big 12 season, need their balance and their ball control?
Yeah, and again, running backs, again, R.J. Harvey has been he's been very good at everything that he does, and he's really good at pass protections. He's very good at understanding run reads, and again, yak yards after contact. And then when he gets into the open field, he can take the ball to the house. So again, he's doing everything we ask him to do. And you know, Johnny has been taking huge steps at the running back position as far as playing running back, and he had a couple protection situations in the last game that he can do a lot better. We showed him that, and like, man, you know, to be a complete running back, and you know, you got to be able to go do pass protections just as well as you run the football, and no one can tackle you in a phone booth, but we also got to be able to play on other downs. And again, all our running backs, you know, I'm really, you know, happy for Jordan and him getting in the end zone and doing his role and getting ready for his moments in the field, because they're coming. And we're going to need Jordan for sure in those situations. And he is a big back that's hard to bring down, and he moves the piles. There's no doubt about that.
Coach, can you tell us about your thoughts on Dylan Riz's performance against Villanova, what he can correct and what he did good on?
Well, Dylan was, you know, true freshman, first game, and he went out there, and the first play was a smash concept, and our if the corners are pressed, we always check. We call it check the seven. I mean, we're looking our eyes down the middle of the field, and again, get those corners to bail and get the defense to be able to show what coverage, or to read the coverage for that matter. And his eyes go right to the sideline on the first play, and so again, he was a freshman, first game. He did a lot of good things, though. He protected the football, which is, again, #1 at quarterback. He made some completions. His deep ball, we gave him a shot down the field, and he threw a strike, and it was a very, very good pass. So I like where his progression is and where he's going right now. And, again, he's got to get ready to go play. And, he's one snap away from playing just like Timmy was. There's no doubt about that. So it was good to get him in the game and be able to go see him go perform. And, again, we got to continue to develop him as we go and get him ready to go.
Darin, how much has John Rice been a big factor in the quarterback's room? Even though he's injured, with Timmy and Dylan, and maybe helping out as a kind of a de facto coach.
No, he's a leader by far, and there's no doubt he does a great job with all our quarterbacks of just talking to them about all the different things that happen on every play and what to be looking for, and really as a big brother to them, and again also to the offense. He talks to all the guys like we've got to go out there and go do our jobs, and he says all the leadership things that you want to hear from a quarterback that's in his position that he's in right now, and I'm very proud of what he's doing.
What was your evaluation of the offensive line? And different guys played. You made a switch at center. What was your evaluation there?
Well, Drake put one on the ground in a critical 3rd down and 2 situation, and we said we're going to go with Kittler, and make that switch, because we can't do that. We can't put the ball on the ground. And Timmy ended up making a great play on that play, and we ended up, driving the ball down and scoring. But the bottom line is that we got to, all that offensive line positions, we've been rotating a lot of guys. I said that during training camp, that we have depth and we've got to be able to rotate guys at multiple different positions. Marcellus Marshall has been playing tackle and guard and moving back and forth and doing a good job. And again, we have the flexibility to be able to do that, and then to get the 5 best offensive linemen in the game when we need them.
What did you think about Caden Kittler when he got in there and played center his first, meaningful reps that he's had?
Yeah, and he knows what to do, and again, that's important because he studies the game really, really well, and he did a very good job when he was in there. There's some technique stuff that he's got to get better at, a couple IDs that he pushed the points when he needed to keep it in the box and things like that, and some different looks we haven't seen that we had to correct on the sideline and correct them during the game. So it was great to see him in there, and obviously, when you got the keys to the offense, you got the ball in your hand every snap. So it's huge at that position that we do and we execute correctly at center.
How would you evaluate when Timmy ran the ball? Do you like how he protected himself, his body? Because that's something you talked about.
Yeah. We talk about it all the time, and Timmy did a very good job of running when he ran, and he has a very good knack of running with the football, and he did a good job of when he had to pull it, and when he didn't, he was making good decisions. I thought his RPOs for the most part were pretty good. The throw part of the RPOs, he threw a touchdown, later on in the game. He missed a couple easy ones, though. Those are the ones that, could have put him 24, 28, or 25 at 28 that he's got to go complete in those situations. And again, if you're going to pull the ball and throw an RPO, we got to complete it.
So, you got K-State going on the road, reigning Big 12 champions, probably going to be a hostile environment. What's your advice to Timmy on how to handle that?
Well, again, we were at Boise, which is a hostile environment, so he's got to feel that. I know he didn't get to play in the game, but he got to feel what the environment was like, and it's going to be a hostile environment. We got to be road warriors. We can't let other things bother us, environment, all the things that are around us, and we got to be able to go handle ourselves. And again, situation where we're going to have noise, and deal with it. And we've been working on crowd noise for consistent weeks here, so we'll be ready to go. He'll be ready to go.
Darin, did you get a chance to have a look at Kansas State? I mean, they lost to Missouri in the last second field goal, but have you had a chance to maybe get a quick look at them and see what they're made of?
I have, and they're a very good football team. They're very good on defense. They're physical. They do a great job with their scheme, and again, they've got great players. They really do, and they get after it, and they're hard-nosed, and they're physical, and that's what they stand for. And there's a reason why they were the Big 12 champs last year.
As a coach, have you coached in many of these Big 12 venues before? a non-conference where you've been? Have you played Kansas State or Kansas or Oklahoma or any of these schools that UCF's going to be playing on the road this year?
I have not played a lot of Big 12 schools. I played mainly coached against SEC schools in different venues, and again, you know, the road games are, you know, I'll be up in the box. It'll be a different box in that whole situation. But the bottom line is that Kansas, you know, that I have been in Kansas State Stadium before and in Kansas Stadium before, but I was not coaching at that time. So I've seen them before, and they're going to be lit up, and it's going to be a hostile environment. We got to get ready for it.
Quarter point of the season, the team is 3-0. What are you most pleased about from the offense?
You know, you know what I'm most pleased about is that the attitude. And I talked about that, the discipline, attitude, toughness, and effort. And we need to continually get better at discipline and be perfect in everything that we do. But our attitude has been about us, about who we are together as a unit. And, you know, there's no pointing fingers. You know, when we're at Boise State and things went bad, they came to the sideline and they were all together. And the bottom line is when adversity hits, we don't flinch. And that's what you see in their eyes, and that's what you see in that they care about each other. And there's no doubt that when John Rice, you know, we found out that something happened to John Rouse, that they all came together and said, we're behind Timmy and we're behind whoever's at quarterback. So I'm really proud of their attitude and that we're playing for each other, and that's important, that we're going to be in some hostile environments, and it's going to be, we got to, again, be together through that process. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thanks a lot.